gonna be a little something more. I've got a plan in mind, a special thing in store. The light bulb inside my head says, get out and play, 'cause you never feel this way. It's my lucky day, it's my lucky day. It's my lucky day, my lucky day. Don't need a pot of gold, a rabbit's foot or to be told. It's my lucky day, it's my lucky day.
Hello, friends. It is so good to be here. Happy Tuesday. We've made it all the way through Tuesday. Well done. Congratulations. Maybe today was one of those days when you wake up and thought, I don't really want to do Tuesday, but you did, and we made it. So well done. And thanks so much for being here. So glad you're here again this week. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know you're here. And today, usually I ask folks my favorite journal prompt, which is, what can you celebrate today? I would love to know. Or I would love to also know, what is something fun about you? So I'm going to share some things that I think are kind of fun about me while you're thinking. So the first thing is, and I think some of you know this, I am interested in all the things. I say it just like that, all the things. Seriously, like all of them. My family likes to play this game sometimes called Who Can Come Up with the Most Things That I'm Not Interested in? The answer really is anything with beer or wine or golf. But other than that, I'm like super interested in like everything else. And I have more hobbies than any person has the right to have. And I just decided, I was working last night. I work part-time at a local library. And I thought, I'm going to read a book in German this week. I mean, I haven't taken German since I was in high school, and my German wasn't that great, but I kind of could understand the title of the book. It's this is a Jojo Moyes book. I think it's called Ship of Brides in English, but I made it through the pseudo introduction and the prologue. Okay, a page of the prologue, but not bad for 20-ish, 25 years away from high school German class. Oh, Mary is here shopping and then on your way home. Totally fine, Mary. Thank you so much for popping in. It is so nice. So nice to have friends who pop in. Ooh, and you play banjo and you're a blogger. That's really cool. I keep threatening to my husband that I will learn to play the harmonica. He does not think it's a super great idea. But I haven't told him yet that last week when I was rooting around in a bin in our basement looking for some old journals, I found a recorder. I'm not sure where this recorder came from, if it was one I got for my children when they were in elementary school, or it's one that was mine when I was in elementary school. But I don't know, maybe someday I'll take it out and play the recorder. But yeah, I think the harmonica would be like fabulous. I used to play the trumpet. It was not especially good, but it was very fun. The other thing I will share, I wanted to show you this. I am really good at finding four-leaf clovers. Four-leaf clovers, in case you thought they were not real, totally are real. Here's one. You can see it's got four of the leaves. But yeah, this is my jar of four-leaf clovers I picked today because that's just what I do. My backyard is mostly clover, thanks to our neighborhood bunnies, which I love. And it was a gorgeous day, and I thought, let me go outside and see if I can find one. And the trick when you find a four-leaf clover is to keep on looking, because when you find one, there is a good chance there will be more right by. The last time I found a number of four-leaf clovers, I did something big. I hired my first coach. So, and that particular day, I found 5 four-leaf clovers. So this is like 20 in my jar. So I've got to think of something really big that the universe wants me to do, because this feels like a really big sign. So if you have any suggestions of something cool I can send out to the universe, or you think the universe is sending out to me, cool, let me know. Drop it in the chat. Yeah, you know what? The first trick to finding a four-leaf clover is you have to look for them. And I think that's where a lot of people go go wrong. I don't want to say go wrong. They don't ever start, but yeah, you can't find them if you don't believe that you can find them. So I look for them everywhere. It's frustrating to everyone around me when we go for walks, and I'm like, oh, hey, wait, slow down. I have to look in this patch of clover. Um, Andy, thanks so much for being here. So good to have you. All right, so that's enough about me for now. Um, but if you want to share something fun about you, seriously, drop it in the comments. I love to hear it. So, all right, what I really want to do today is share with you some journaling ideas that maybe you haven't tried yet. They're in no particular order. And I want to preface this by saying we all have a very narrow scope of what we think journaling is, myself included. This is one of the things that really surprised me when I started talking about journaling on LinkedIn a couple of years ago. I thought, oh, if I know how to journal, surely all of these super smart people I know and I'm connected with, surely they all must know how to journal. They probably journal already, and probably they're better at it than I am, because seriously, I discovered it when I was an angsty teenager. Surely everybody else has figured it out by now. I have since come to realize it's not intuitive for everybody, but we can all learn to do it. I think there's a lot of folks who get stuck, though, with journaling because we have this idea of what we think journaling should be. We have, again, this limited scope. Some people maybe think that journals are diaries, and that's what teenage girls keep, right? Anyone here ever think that? Yeah, it's okay if you did, or if you do. But I just want to show you some other things, and maybe something I'll share today will strike your fancy. Maybe you'll recognize something that you already do and realize, oh, that is journaling after all. So this is in no particular order. Actually, it is. It's the order that I shared things in my newsletter. I have a weekly newsletter, comes out every Monday morning. I give you a piece about journaling, some journal prompts, and a fun journaling idea. So I really just curated this list from what I shared. But most of you weren't along for the ride way, way back when I started. So here we go. The first one, I love this idea. This is a family recipe journal. I have not done this yet. Someday I really want to. And in my head, this is how it goes. One page of the journal will have the recipe, preferably in the relatives or friends' hand that always made the recipe. And then the opposite page, a reflection of why that recipe is meaningful, right? Were they Grandma Stern's Christmas donuts? And then I will describe not just what the donuts tasted like or what the consistency was like or the texture. I'll talk about family Christmases and what that meant for me and how cool and special it was to have the one time a year when Grandma would go through the effort to make donuts for us. Oh, Jennifer says, oh, yeah, Jennifer, it's hard to move beyond perfection in journaling and just enjoy it for what it is. Yes, thank you so much for saying that. Journaling, it's so funny that so many of us have this idea that our journals have to be perfect, that the quality of our ideas have to be perfect, that our spelling and our grammar and our handwriting have to be perfect or it's not worth doing. Just throw that idea out the window. There is no perfect when it comes to journaling, right? So this family recipe journal, I think would be really, really cool. And at some point I will make one. All right, going along with that, is a book journal. This one I have done to some degree. I started this when I read the Joy Luck Club for the third time. I kept checking it out from the library. Every time I found it on the shelf, I think, oh, the Joy Luck Club. I've heard this is really good. And then I would read it and I would get to a certain part and I would think, oh, I think I've read this before, but I couldn't tell you how it ended. So I finished reading. Really, I read it 3 times before I realized I should just write it down somewhere and then I will remember what I wrote. So have a place where you keep a list of all the books that you've read. Give your reviews of them. Write what you liked about it. What was significant about that book? What was the special thing going on in your life when you read the book? Why did you connect with it? Who would you want to share the book with? I think that would be a really cool kind of journal to keep. All right. Moving on, this is one of my favorites. Anyone who has ever journaled with me will recognize this. This is my handy dandy timer. I love the use of a good timer when I journal. This kind is my favorite. You can use any kind of timer. I like this one because it's a visual timer. Because usually I don't want to know what time something is. I want to know the time in relation to the next thing. So I love this. I can set it usually for 5 minutes, and I write until the journal or till the timer goes off. It beeps, it doesn't ring. But I use these in my journaling groups. I give us a prompt, we set the timer, and off we go. And you can use this in your journaling too. It's really helpful on the days when you're not sure you have anything to write and you maybe don't want to write. You think, okay, I'll set my timer and, for 3 minutes, I will keep my pen moving. Doesn't have to be good, but I just have to keep it going for 3 minutes. Likewise, it's also really good on those days when you have a lot to do and you have so much writing to do that you're liable to get sucked in. Set a timer. Oh, okay, it's a busy day, so I only have 10 minutes I can spend, and I'm going to use my timer to make sure I keep to those parameters. And another way it can be really helpful is if you are writing about something that is hard for you. It's really difficult. It's taken you a lot of gumption to even dig it up, but you can't do it for long. Give yourself a time container that while the timer's running, then you can explore this hard thing. But as soon as the timer's done, then you've got to take a deep breath and figure out how to move forward. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Andy, I have more books than I could ever read. That is so true. That's totally me. And that does not stop me from continuing to bring books home from the library. I don't know how many I have out. It's in the 20s. But I keep bringing things home because maybe this is the book I need to read right now. Like a book in German. Like I don't have enough books in English that I can understand to read. All right. This one, pick a time, anytime. When people ask me the trick to establishing a really solid journaling practice, one of my favorite suggestions is pick a time that you're going to do it. For me, it's early in the morning. I get up. That is like the first real thing that I do in the mornings is write in my journal. That's when I know I'm going to remember. That's when I know it fits really nicely into my schedule. And that is where, when the answers know that I will be there so they can come find me. It does not matter what your time is. If you are not a morning person, you do not have to journal in the morning. You could journal in the evening. You could journal in the afternoon. You could journal in the middle of the night if you are a night owl. But pick a time that is a time that makes sense for you, and make that your journaling time. All right, now we've got lists. I like to call it lists and lists and lists of lists. If you are a list maker, keep them in your journal. And there are so many wonderful, exciting things to make lists of: places we want to go, and things we want to do, and things I want to learn, and people I like, and music I love, and my favorite colors, and my favorite reptiles, and all of the places I've ever found 4-leaf clovers, all of my favorite houseplants and which houseplants I want to get, all of the beautiful art projects I've made. whatever your lists are, movies you want to read, books you want to read, whatever. Make lists of your lists. And I would love to know, drop it in the chat if you will. What is your favorite kinds of lists to make? I mean, I guess you could put your shopping list in there. I make probably more shopping lists than anything else, or to-do lists. But really, when I talk about making lists, I'm talking about lists of things that you'll care about later. Maybe you'll care about your shopping list or your to-do list later. Maybe not. All right, moving on, we've got writing letters. I love to write letters in my journal. I write letters to myself. I write letters to other people. I write letters to things. I've been doing lots of money work recently, and I write a whole lot of letters to money. I've written in the last bunch of weeks letters to self-love, letters to anxiety, letters to anything that I'm struggling with and facing. It's really cool to see what happens when we take the time to acknowledge somebody or something and write a letter. Um, yeah, it's really, really cool to see what comes up as we're writing these letters. Okay, moving on. We've got goal setting and progress tracking. I love, love, love to use my journaling to set goals and track my progress. And I love to do something that I call Sunday morning accountability journaling, where I sit down every Sunday morning, usually, unless I'm busy, and then I shift it to another day or time. I sit down with my goals and I reflect on how I'm doing. I ask myself things like, how am I doing with my goal? What progress did I make? And I itemize things. I list out and identify the pieces that I've accomplished so that I can see the progress really accumulate on the page. I work through where I'm stuck and how I can unstick myself so that I can continue to move forward. But it's a really great place to keep all of that information together so I can go back and aggregate it. Because I don't know if this ever happens to you. Like you set a goal and you love it and you're super excited and you write it down in a safe place and you close your book. And then next year at goal setting time, you're like, oh, yeah, there was that goal I was going to work on. Did I work on it? I don't know. I can't remember. Right. But if you keep track of it as you go, you will have it. And you can do this for both personal goals and you can do this for professional goals too. You're going into a review. Ooh, I can't remember what I did this year. Oh, wait. Yes, I can because I wrote it all down. Can be super, super, super helpful. We're coming up to one of my favorite times of the year. It's spring. My birthday is in the spring. It is in 1 month and 1 day. It is my favorite day of the year. And this will be year 2 of my birthday journal. I got this idea from Tim Pereira, who says he keeps a birthday journal. Every year he writes, he keeps a specific journal just for writing on his birthday. And he just writes a reflection on how his year went and where he's at and where he wants to go. And I'm really excited to read back to see what I wrote last year. I'm pointing because it's here on my bookshelf. I can tell you, actually. This is my birthday journal. This appeared in the mail from my high school best friend, Katie Richards, who just sent it to me for my birthday, which is so nice. She sent me this beautiful book and this really cute pen. It's got a dog. You press the thing, which is, I think, supposed to be the dog's tail, but it's not really the dog's tail. Anyways, once a year, I write in this journal, so I'm excited to see it fill up with all of my birthday stuff for myself. Something really cool that I want to do, but I can't keep my I can't pay enough attention to the calendar. Journaling with the phases of the moon, I think, is really, really cool. You know, when can you call in? When can you let go and surrender? If you are into astrology or astronomy at all, like really cool to be able to tie your journaling into what's going on in the world. I'm not sure why I'm doing all of this. Probably so my mom can roll her eyes at me later and tell me I'm doing too much gesticulating, but there we are. All right. So a journal for who did I help today or what help did I receive? It's really hard to ask for help. it's much easier to give help, right? And it feels really good. So I like to sometimes just keep track of who did I get to help today and did I allow to help me. It's really important um, to do both and to practice really identifying these just to make sure we keep ourselves, in the practice of it. All right, we've got garden journaling. I am a big gardener. I grew up with a dad who has the greenest thumb I've ever seen. I became a master gardener. And every year I think, oh, I should make a map. I should take some pictures. I should document what's going on in my garden. And last year, maybe I did a sketch. And that's as far as it's as far as I got was my planting sketch, which was really just a rectangle with like writing of what I planted in each row. So do yourself a favor if you are a gardener of any kind, keep some kind of a journal about what you're growing, where you're growing it, how you took care of your soil, all of the things you're going to wish that you had remembered when you wish you remembered from last year when you go to plant your garden this year. What's for dinner? If you are like me, it is so frustrating to figure out what is for dinner every single night for everybody in your family. Um, but I thought, if I can just keep track of what I make for dinner every night, first of all, there's all my meal planning. If I just keep track for like a year of what we have for dinner, then all I have to do is just recreate those meals every year. That would make life super easy, right? And also kind of cool to have a record of what I ate. And you could go one step further. Who came to dinner? What plates did you serve it on? Did you serve it on the everyday dishes? Did you use paper plates? Did you use the good china? What was the dinner conversation like? Right? What important things got talked about over dinner? I think that would be really cool. Um, Playing What If. This is a game I like to play with myself sometimes. You might know this game in terms of, oh, what if something bad happens? I like to play it in terms of, I wonder what would happen if. Um, and just imagine scenarios. If I woke up today and my boss said, you have an extra day off today. Cool, have fun, but you have to do something great. What would I do with my something great? If somebody knocked on my door and left me $400, what would I do with 400 extra dollars? Or whatever the scenario you decide to invent for yourself is. If I were an animal and I went to a tea party, what would I wear? Whatever. So what if? A day in the life. It's really cool to have documentation of what your life is like. I always thought I would remember all of the minute, insignificant details of my life because I have a really good memory, especially for small, insignificant details. And I don't remember a whole lot of things. My mother told me if it's important, write it down. And so I think sometimes it's really fun to be able to describe what a day in your life is like. What time did you get up? What did you eat for breakfast? What order did you do the things that you did? Who did you encounter? What did you wear? Right? Like it seems like, oh, a no brainer. Why would I care? Well, it's cool to look back on, like, oh, this is what my life was like 4 years ago. It's so different, or it's so the same as it is now. Also, it would be a cool thing to leave behind. I feel like I would give my eye teeth for even just like a page of something like this, either one of my grandmothers had left behind. I think it would be really cool. Setting intentions. A few years ago, when I moved my journaling from the evening to the morning, I decided to really use that time to set intentions for myself, for the day, how I wanted it to go, really think through who I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up and what I needed to make that happen. So I came up with 6 prompts that I used every day And I asked myself them. I actually turned it into this one pager. Many of you have seen it. It's got my schedule, a brief to-do list, and then it's got my intention setting questions. And then I did change them up this year to reflect my theme for myself this year. But the questions I started with were, what is the most important thing for me to do today? How can I show up as my best me? What does my soul need today? How will I feed my mind today? How will I take care of my body today? And who do I need to connect with today? And these questions really helped me, again, figure out who I wanted to be, how I wanted to show up, where I needed to show up, for whom I needed to show up, and what I needed in order to make that happen. All right, quote journaling. Do you ever just stumble sometimes across a really good quote and you think, oh, I need to keep this, right? And maybe you write it down on a sticky note and stick it on your wall and it stays there till the post-it loses its sticky and then you lose your quote. Put it down in your journal and then go one step further. Why did that resonate with you? What's significant about it? What does it remind you of? What does it bring up for you? All your favorites. Take a few minutes and just dump down at this point in your life all of your favorite things, your favorite color, your favorite bird, your favorite food, your favorite child, your favorite friend, your favorite activities, your favorite vacation spots, whatever your favorites are. We do this for our kids when they go to school every year, right? We do that, the sign we make them hold in front of themselves saying what grade they're in and what their favorite colors are, or teacher, or what they want to be when they grow up, right? List them. What do you know, right? We know a lot of stuff, but have you ever written down everything that you know? Or like some of the things that you know? I think this is really, really fun to do. It's just write down things that you know absolutely for certain. I don't know. I'm blanking now, but I know that for me, journaling in the morning is the best time to write and reflect and gather my thoughts. For me, that's what I know. I also know that it's very important to take your crayons out of your pockets before you wash your clothes. Otherwise, everything in the washing machine ends up with crayons. Actually, that's a lie. It happens when it comes in the dryer. If I had $1 for every time I put crayons through the dryer when my kids were small, I would have $4. $4 too many. I would rather have had all of those clothes without crayons on them. Anyways, write down all the things you know. Sometimes it's nice to go back and remind yourself of how smart you are because you're much smarter than you remember most of the time. Visualize it. Is there something that you really, really want, or something you want to be, or a life you want to live? Whatever it is, visualize it. Describe it in detail. Really, really use your journaling pages to get clear on what that is and have it written in such vivid detail that you can see it. And every time you go back and revisit it, you can just see it even more clearly. So you can make it happen for yourself. Conversations. Conversations can be really hard. I was listening to Lauren Lefkowitz's live stream earlier today, and she was talking about firing friends. Yeah, those are hard conversations to have. And you know where I like to practice those hard conversations? In my journal. My journals are filled with all kinds of uncomfortable conversations I need to have because I am somebody who gets easily flustered. I'm like said I have what I need to talk about, and then I'm easily caught off guard or sidetracked. So I love to be able to practice what I want to say so I'm more confident and comfortable going in. And we are almost at time, my friend. I have like a whole bunch more. So we might have to do a part 2 of this. But I'm going to stop for just a minute, catch my breath, allow you to catch your breath. We'll check the comments. Let's see. Mary, just remembered being little, running through warm mud and telling myself this feels great. I feel really good. I just remember my whole body was thrilled running in soft, warm mud and bare feet. Oh, that's so, yeah. So, those times when you just remember the stuff, write them down. For me, it's often things like some time ago, I walked into the kitchen and my son was spreading cream cheese on a bagel. Run of the mill. We do this all the time at my house. But my son was using the same kind of cream cheese that my grandmother would use when I was growing up, and she'd spread it on saltines and give it to me for a snack. And I had totally forgotten all about it. But once I remembered, I got to write it down so that way I could keep my memory, right? So if you have memories, things that pop up, journals don't have to be done in chronological order. You can write your stories as you come up with them. And with that, my friends, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for journaling with me or listening to me talk about journaling. If you want to journal with me, I will tell you tomorrow night I am holding my monthly journaling mini retreat. It is a 60-minute just kind of escape from life. We'll gather together, we'll journal. I'll bring journal prompts, my handy dandy timer, and we'll journal and chat. And it's seriously the best. So if you want to come and feel the magic and experience what it's like to journal in the group of cool people, you can register here at amandastern.as.me/retreat. And I'll see you there. And my friends, again, thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next time.